Welcome to Echo 302, Study Session 6, Investment, Concepts and Theory. Introduction. In our earlier lectures, we said that at equilibrium, investment depends on income level and real interest rate. However, we did not conceptualize investment, neither did we establish any theory that demonstrates that interest rate is an important driver of investment. In any economic analysis, good mastery of concepts and understanding of a theoretical underpinning of a particular phenomena is very important. Therefore, in this lecture, we shall examine the concept, types, and theories of investment. Objectives. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to 1. Conceptualize real and current investment. 2. Distinguish between categories of investment. 3. Demonstrate how interest rate affects investment. And 4. Explain the use and be able to compute marginal efficiency of capital. Concept of investment. It will be of interest to be aware that there is no universal definition of investment. However, some definitions found in the literature will be presented. In a loose language, investment can be defined as a purchase of shares, stocks, bonds, and other securities which already exist in the market. Another definition is that it is the addition of new capital to the market. Investment defined in this way includes the purchase of new equipment, machine, construction of roads, dams, electrification, etc. Another working definition of investment is that it is any form of product, durable, that is capable of contributing to the production of goods and services. Investment spending expenditure is therefore any outlay incurred by private or government for the purpose of such durables. Investment can also be conceptualized as the production or acquisition of real capital assets during any period of time. Thus, when a country increases the purchase of capital goods and intermediate goods, it is increasing capital accumulation that will be able to produce goods and services for future consumption. There is another investment recorded separately in the expenditure flows, which businesses may plan for or which may occur incidentally. Additions to inventories, that is stock of unsold goods and raw materials, are recorded because they constitute unsold output, and as such, they cause recorded output to exceed expenditures. Many firms consciously accumulate inventories in order to meet up with sudden increases in demand, so that in times of buoyant demand, supply of goods will be more readily forthcoming and production delays will not prevent demand from being satisfied. Meanwhile, changes in inventories can be negative or positive. If it is positive, then it constitutes pure investment. If it is negative, then it leads to disinvestment. Also, changes in the value of inventory at market prices are called real change or real investment. Types of investment. A. Induced investment. Induced investment is motivated by profit or income. Factors like prices, wages, and interest charges will affect profit-induced investment. Also, demand influences investment because when income increases, demand for goods and services rises. To meet this increase in demand, investment will increase. Induced investment can further be divided into two. A. Average propensity to invest, API, and B. Marginal propensity to invest, MPI. API is the proportion of investment in income, that is I over Y, while MPI is the ratio of change in investment to the change in income, delta I divided by delta Y. B, exogenous investment. This type of investment is independent of income or profit. Rather, it is influenced by the exogenous factors such as innovations, inventions, growth of population, and labor force. Social and legal institutions, weather changes, war, revolution, etc. This type of investment is not influenced by demand, but influences demand. Exogenous investment is depicted as I naught in the aggregate expenditure analysis. Determinants of investment. From the conceptual analysis, it is clear that investments are of two categories: the purchase of capital goods, which do not depend on the level of income, and the intermediate and inventory goods, which depend on the level of sales and profit of firms. The higher the sales or profit, the higher the changes in inventory and thus investment. Another important determinant of investment is interest rate. In many cases, firms source for funds from banks. Therefore, high interest rate will make borrowing expensive and reduce the amount of investment. The question that follows is that what is the highest interest rate that a firm can pay for a particular investment? Theorists use marginal efficiency of capital or the internal rate of return to analyze this question. We present the concept of marginal efficiency of capital. Marginal efficiency of capital is the highest interest rate at which an investment project makes neither profit nor loss. In particular, MEC depends on the supply price of capital assets and their prospective yield. The MEC uses a mathematical method of discounting. The discounting assumes that the investor, in deciding whether to invest or not, compare the stream of future income from investment being made, discounted to yield present value with the capital outlay to be made. By illustration, assume you have 1 naira to deposit in your bank, and the bank pays an interest rate compounding yearly. At the end of the first year, say time T1, the principal amount denoted by, say, N0 will yield new principal amount as follows. N1 equals N0 of 1 plus R, where R is the bank rate, solution to N0, which is the present value of Ni we have. N0 equals Ni over 1 plus R. By the same token, the future value of NO in 2 years' time will be N2 equals N1 of 1 plus R, which equals N0 equals 1 plus R bracket, the bracket again, 1 plus R, which equals N0 of 1 plus R bracket to power 2. The corresponding present value can then be found by discounting equation 6.3 by 1 plus R to power 2. This yields N0 equals N2 over 1 plus R to power 2. Thus, at time t, the present value of N will be given by N0 equals Nt over 1 plus R to power 2. Thus, if you have alternatives between keeping your money in the bank and investing it in a project, the rule is very simple. If I0 is less than PV, then invest, otherwise don't invest. In equation 6.5, N0 depends on interest rate. When interest rate increases, present value falls and interest rate falls. PV rises, that is, at a higher interest rate, the amount of money required today to earn the investment capital yield is much reduced. Therefore, some capital asset with a present value, which was only just above I naught, will be ignored, thus reducing investment. In practice, investors need not carry out any actual calculation, as much books on business finance often contain time interval for varied interest rates. To be sure that the values in the table is correct, consider N1 compounded for about 6 years at 3% and 7% interest rate respectively. This will yield N6 equals 1 of 1 plus 0.03 in bracket to power 6, which equals 1.19. N6 equals 1 of 1 plus 0.07, everything to power 6, equals 1.14. And the corresponding present value are N0 equals 1 over 1 plus 0.06 to power 6. N0 equals 1 over 1 plus 0.7. Clearly, the PV of N6 and R equals 0.03 is greater than the PV of N6 and R equals 0.07. Thus, investment with R equals 3 will be embarked upon first, and if I naught is, say, 0.79, using the rule I naught is less than PV. Otherwise, don't. We see that 0.78 is less than 0.84. Thus, we invest. But 0.79 greater than 0.84. Thus, we abandon the project. Illustration. We see that MC is less than R. So also is the fact that the cost of the project is less than the present value of the project. Thus, the project should be executed. The man should not deposit the money in his bank account. Note that as long as MEC is less than R, investment is profitable to be taken. An important message from these analyses, which is relevant to this study, is that interest rate determines investment spending through the worth of the project measured by its present value. The present value is negatively related to interest rate. Thus, that part of investment that depends on interest rate in investment function enters negatively. Summary. There is no unanimous definition of investment. However, investment exists when new capital or goods and services not yet sold are created. Investment is crucial to economic activities and therefore we need to examine some of its determinants. There is a part of investment that is necessarily required irrespective of the level of income. This part of investment is called exogenous or autonomous investment. Another part of investment is that which depends on national income. When national income increases, part of the increase will be spent on creating new capital. Therefore, as income rises, investment rises. Finally, some firms source their funds from banks, which in turn charge interest on the loan borrowed. The higher the interest rate, the less investor will borrow, and the lower will be investment. Firms usually make use of the internal rate of return or present value of a project to determine the number of projects to carry out. Thus, when the present value of the project is greater than the cost of the project, it is profitable to carry out the project. Otherwise, it is wise to shelve the project. One important determinant of present value is the interest rate. The higher the interest rate, the lower the present value of the project, and hence the less the investment becomes. Therefore, in all indication, investment is inversely related to interest rate. This is the end of study session 6. Thanks for listening.